Hello, beginning farmer friends. I just spent an unbelievably inordinate amount of time trying to find 160 square feet of 1x1 welded wire. I literally went to 4 stores. I traveled, probably close to 100 miles. No, please no, 75 miles. I traveled a long ways in search for this 1x1 welded wire. I finally found some. It's not exactly perfect. I don't know. I need to go change. I need to get working on this wagon. It is 1:45. Oh my goodness, where did this day go? All right, here's the situation as I see it. I could not find bigger than this. I wanted to put 1x1 wire across the floor. 1/2x1/2 is too small. 1x2 or 2x2. I've got concerns with that because we actually have had problems, and it's been quite a few years ago, but we actually had a problem one time with raccoons reaching up between some slats on a chicken wagon and pulling. Well, you get the idea. The chickens were dying. So 1x1 is borderline, but this will allow the manure to fall through. 1/2x1/2, it wasn't going to happen. The idea is to lay this all out. The downside is they're only 2 foot wide, so it's going to take 5 of them. I just had to do the math in my head. It's going to take 5 of them to cover the width of this, and then on top of that, these are only 15 feet long, and this is a 16 foot long wagon. I just realized I didn't get enough. I'll be right back. I thought I did have some of this on the farm actually, and it looks like I do. Okay, so now I have enough. We can go 5 across, and then 1 at the end is going to cover up that foot that won't be covered. I think my plan is to staple everything down and then maybe come with some fence staples every couple or every 3 feet or so and hammer those down. I will be putting it underneath the walls on the ends and on the sides. Right now, I'll just be completely honest. I'm kind of exhausted, not exhausted, I am flustered from my trip to find this wire taking so long. We might get some storms. It's kind of like that sunny right before a potential storm right now, so who knows what's going to happen. I wouldn't mind if I was working out here and it was storming. That would be kind of cool. Enough talking, let's get to work. Well, this isn't exactly going how I thought it would go. First of all, these are supposed to be 15 feet long, and this one that I had sitting out under the grain bin basically, it is definitely 15 feet long and then some. This one that's brand new is definitely closer to 13 feet or 14 feet, not 15 feet, so I'm not quite sure. I do think I have another one of these under the grain bin, so if I need to do 2 across the back, I can do 2 across the back. The other thing that I noticed is that I'm going to need to do something on these seams right here. But I've actually got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do with those seams. I think they're called J-clips. We use them to make rabbit cages. I think I can just come through with some J-clips, clamp those together, a couple J-clips or maybe even just 1 J-clip, probably 2 J-clips every space. It should go fairly quickly. We'll be able to clamp that up. Let me kind of show you what I'm doing here because there's not a lot to it. I do want to strengthen it up a little bit. You're probably seeing that I'm having to go along with the hammer and put those staples down a little bit. The first thing that I'm doing is trying to get everything as tight together as possible without overlapping, because I'm guessing if they're not exactly 15 feet long, or maybe I just have enough sag in between all these boards, then they're not going to be exactly 2 feet wide. So I don't want to overlap it. I want to have everything tight up against it as possible. And then I'm just coming along and popping a bunch of staples in. Maybe I should have got a battery operated stapler instead of a nail gun. That actually didn't go too bad. I got everything laid out where it needs to go as far as the wire. It is covering the whole deck except for this last foot and then 3 feet down there for some reason because that one didn't have as much wire on the roll. I'll be honest, I am really liking the way that it's coming out. I am super excited about the possibility of not having to clean this out. Actually, I've got an idea that I want to run by you. Well, I'll do it here in a second. Give me a second to put a few staples down and then I'll run this idea by you. You know how I am going down these 2x4s and I'm stapling right here? What if on the next one, instead of going down and stapling here, I just laid like a 1x2 furring strip over the top, drilled some pilot holes and screwed that down. Of course, manure is going to build up on top of those furring strips, but manure is going to build up on top of these 2x4s as well. So what do you think? Do you think that would be an efficient idea? I'm also going to order some 4-foot or the biggest size of these 1x1 panels that I can, so I don't have to connect so many together when I get to the connecting point. Put your ideas in the comments down below. If you like this series on building this new chicken wagon for the farm, let me know what you would like to see, or if you've got any ideas. I'll talk about ideas here in a little bit too. So many things to talk about. Oh, jackpot. Cage clips, cage clip tool. It's time to get going. Yeah, it's kind of raining right now. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really pouring. Actually, I should say, I don't know if you can hear me. I've got the wagon where it is now to the point that I need to put some walls on this side. I've been doing a little figuring in my head about how I'm going to do those. The problem is the lumber I want is right out there. I'm not that motivated to go get it. I should be, but I also feel like it should stop raining at some point. Oh my goodness, something. It's always something, isn't it? Let's take this second to talk about why I decided to build the wagon that I decided to build and what my thinking is behind it. One of the questions that I've got is why 10 feet wide? That is kind of wide. There's not a lot of wagons out there in the world that are 10 feet wide. Well, first of all, I've got 16-foot gates in all of my pasture areas, so I can easily get it through those gates. Second of all, I want to be able to have 325 chickens in there comfortably when they're on the floor, when they're young, and also when they get up in the roosts. I want to be able to have a good roost, so I thought 10 foot wide was good for that. Third of all, is that how you would say it? Thirdly, next, the reason that I have it 10 feet wide is I've had these things tip over before. And my idea on having it a little wider is I'm going to have some sort of feet that come down right here. And so with that wide base, I'm hoping that even if it gets really windy, it doesn't blow away in the wind. Now, the other question I get is why a wagon for your meat birds instead of a Soliton style or a Siskovich style chicken tractor or something along those lines? Or why not one of those humongous like pasture bird systems? I don't think that's what they're called, but like Cobb Creek maybe makes them or designed them. It's these big range hoop houses basically that you drag along the ground. Why not one of those? Well, in my mind, those, oh my goodness, look at that rain. Listen to that rain. In my mind, those big drag around the ground hoop houses don't work because on our pastures, there's just too much slope and undulation. Those aren't going to work. This allows me to move 325 birds at once with one piece of equipment, as opposed to moving multiple chicken tractors, whether it's 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, I don't know how many you would need, or 3, whatever it is. And with the Freedom Rangers, this works. They'll walk up a ramp into this building, they'll roost up on any roost that I put in here. So that's why I go with this model. I've done this model for about 8 seasons of raising chicks. It seemed to work out well for me. Now I just want to have a better structure, and this is kind of like my third iteration to get that good structure. I think I'm just going to watch it rain right now because this is incredible. You know what I just found out? My trailer leaks. I mean, I know it comes in from the side, but the roof's leaking too. I went ahead and I made a pattern so that I wouldn't have to go ahead and get the tape measure out for every single board that I was going to cut. And so hopefully this will go fairly quickly. I guess I don't even know how many boards I need to cut. 16 feet every 16 inches. Wait, is that 10? One's on the end, 11? I don't know, we'll find out. I had kind of hoped to pull the wagon out and build these walls on the floor so I could line up everything easily, but that's not going to happen. So the next thing I'm going to go do, I guess, is I'm going to go along this board right here. This is the 16-foot bottom of my wall. I'm sure there's a construction term for it. I'm going to mark 16 inches on center for the stud, and then we'll get the nail gun out and start popping away, I guess. I've got one wall done except for the thing that goes on top. You know, you put another board on top because of thing. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I am going to put another board on top once I get it lifted up. That way I've got a little bit more to attach my hoops to, which in this case, to start out on this one, is going to be a cattle panel. I don't know what else I'm going to get done tonight. I am going to go in right now though and have supper. If it's bright enough out here, I'll come back out and film a little more because I am going to work a little bit more. Just finished supper. It didn't stop raining. The sun didn't come out, but the project must go on. So let's see what we can do. We need to build another wall. Here's the plan for the rest of the day. We've got one wall done. We're going to build another one. Then we're going to put the two walls up. And then really there's not much else I can do. I suppose if it stops raining, I can go get the steel to put on the sides, but there's not much else I can do until I get my cattle panels up for the hoops, because I don't know how tall to build my end walls until I have that done. Well, I think I have made it to a stopping point, or at least for the video. I've got both walls up right now, as you can see. I've got the wire down, attached. The floor is done. My next step is to go to town and buy some cattle panels that are going to be some hoops. I think, let's see, I'll need 4 of them and then they'll overlap something like that. That light is really bright. The steel is going to go on the sides right here. I think I should be able to just put it horizontal. It'll cover enough of it, and then I'll probably just end up using some fence staples of some sort to attach the hoops. I really hope it doesn't rain tomorrow morning so that hopefully I can kind of pull this out, because I don't really know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to get those hoops up there by myself to attach them all. To be completely honest with you, I have no clue what I'm doing. I would tell you to put comments down below. Yeah, go ahead, put comments down below. Tell me what you think I should do. I'll probably have this one done by the time this video comes out, or hopefully I'll have this one done by the time this video comes out. But I'll be building another one, so put your suggestions in the comments down below, and then when the second one is built, I'll have all your intelligence to help me out on it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Chicken Wagon.